What's good, yo? What's good? How we doing? Doing good? We better be, my friends. We better be. Today's gonna be a different type of stream. I don't really know how this is gonna go, but it's I have a non-copyrightable mix going through. I fuck with these songs, so alright, there we go. And then just doing my normal thing. We'll get started in a minute. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Uh, this opened. All right, there we go. Ooh wee! Today is gonna be a woozy. Let me get out the drawing tablet because I think we need to start out with the visualization step. The visualization. What will our fret be? All right. I've had a couple ideas. Fresh. All right. We're gonna turn on display capture for this episode today. Shut up.
Left uncovered. I'm thinking about four-leaf clovers. I've got composure. Silver coin, you hold me for right now.
Alright. Cool. I'm gonna open Photoshop for this. I think that's where I think we start. Do. Alright. I think I have a Alright. Chicken. Jockey. Alright. Stream overlay. Untitled. We'll just use our untitled. Alright, this is for my challenge. Or that That's not what we're doing today. Alright. So, today we are making up uh
Expect to forget about it.
um, yeah, I want some funk shit. Okay. Alright.
Yeah, I got the juice like a snow cone. Ice in my veins and a cold flow. I'm getting cash overseas by the boatload. You wanna ride my wave? That's a no. Senoritas going loco.
Alright.
Make it bounce like a pogo. All my haters
So, this is fucking distracting. Okay. Alright. Today we are conceptualizing what our fret will be. First, we need to decide some questions of the fret. All right. First, what will our fret be? All right. I was thinking more on the lines of, hold on. Yeah. I was thinking maybe la yeah, I'll just type it out. I was thinking we do something Lovecraftian. So we could do something Lovecraftian, which I personally would really like. Um, but I also want it to be two stories in one. So the narrative would be two stories. So it will be two narratives and that will eventually intertwine. I really want like Missing 411. So missing 411, if you don't know what that is, it's just like people who go missing in natural parks, like nature parks and shit like that, and don't get found. It's actually really cool if you want to make a deep dive into it. So I was thinking we could do that, and we could make it I've really had this idea of having a horror story take place in a skate park. I know it sounds kind of stupid when I say it, but let's think about it for a sec. All right, you thinking? All right, cool. Now I don't want it to just be skate parks. I want it to be a park system. So let's visualize this. All right, let's visualize. It's visualizing time. This. Oh fuck! Where's my pen? Um. There we go. All right. Let me get a PNG of landmass PNG. Map of world PNG. Yeah, there we go. Uh, sure. Okay, here we go. So this, yeah. All right. So where would the fret take place in? Shut up.
Cause they coming up short like Frodo. Activate the beast mode. I keep it hot, give your brain a heat stroke.
All right. I'm starting not to like this one.
World is mine, like my name's Pacino. Hey, it's Nico. I guess I'm back. Catch me in the fast lane on the right track. And my shorty is a 10 like a dime bag. Got me feeling like a millie, check the price tag. Got the party jumping like Chris.
Hold on. What song do I play? Maybe man, I'm just gonna play Ultra Kill. Alright, yeah. Okay. So, our fret, I feel like, needs to be a global fret. So we'll have the main narrative. I really want it to take place, like, kind of in, like, a nowhere area, you know? So, let's say, first, this is ground zero. Right about, we'll just say somewhere within the East Coast. So, like, right around here in Georgia. Or we could do it in Maine. Like, up here. That, or we could go, like, mid area. Alright, we'll have it multiple stories take place in America. It'll take place, like, let's say, maybe like California. No, Utah. Yeah, Utah. I feel like is a good place. Do Utah. Because nothing happens there. Maybe Wyoming. So Wyoming would be like somewhere around that area. And we will have one in Georgia because I can't resist not putting my home state in there. They're like along the East Coast. Yeah, along the East Coast will also be the fret. Because I want it to be interconnected. And it's going to be connected through different parks. Alright? It's going to be a park system that will not just use skate parks, but like national parks, natural woodlands, and things like that. We should also have some take place in Canada. So like, kind of in the area where maybe like really up north, like right there. Alright, let's expand our zeitgeist. So our fret will be here, but then we'll have some in Europe. Now, we'd have to go over like which countries which. This is Central Europe. This is, I feel like one in Britain would make sense. We'll do one in Germany as well. Then maybe like one in South America. Rarely see. Maybe in like Brazil. Brazil. I feel like Japan would also be a good place. Creepy shit happening in Japan. Yeah. Yeah, we'll mark it. I feel like Australia would also make sense. We could do some cool shit in Australia. Then let's do like islands. So like Cuba. Greenland, I feel like is too remote, but we could do something in the Greenland mountains. I feel like that would be cool. Great Lakes. I don't want it to be water-based, though. I don't. That's the thing. I don't want it to be water-based. So I think I'll leave that. I think I'll leave it. But these will be all the spots that will be connected. Our main place where the main narrative will take place, I think, would be in Utah. So I'll mark that. We'll mark it as a different color. I really want to get the visualization done so we know what we're actually going into when we start writing. I don't want to start writing off the rips. I want to have like a visualization of what the fret is and where it will take place. So all right, cool. So this is location. So location of fret. All right. Oh, fuck you. No! Did I just lose all my progress? I just fucking... I did it oopsie daisies. Alright, let me remark everything. God. Alright. Utah. Main place. We had one in Georgia. We had one... oh yeah, Wyoming. Somewhere in Canada. Europe. London. Japan. And Australia. Germany. Throughout the West Coast, so South Carolina. Or, wait, no, North Carolina. That would be North Carolina. Oh yeah, Brazil. Alright. Brazil, Cuba. Alright. Then, like, oh yeah, the Greenland Mountains. Alright. Location of fret. Alright, done. Alright, cool. Cool. So here is what the fret... Here's where the fret will be. Now, I think the threat should be like like a park that lures people. So all right, yeah, this song bangs. Hold on. All right. So it would be pretty much hmm. I feel like it should be. I want it to be a park. I want it to be like woodland. Alright. I want it to be like a woodland that lures people into it. And then they get lost and then they get consumed by it. If that makes sense. Um and I kind of want it to be like a living, breathing thing. So I want it to be a biological threat. Um Let me like try to draw it out. So we'll have the tree. Tree. Here's a leaf. Here's a leaf. Oh fuck. Okay. This is just a really rough drawing. Let me turn on the music. Yeah, that'll work. Yeah. That's just a basic rough. This is very rough. It's in its infancy. So I would imagine it being like a park. So just a normal, everyday park. I would imagine there being like a sewer grate tunnel. So, hmm. All right. Oh, I need to think out about what the spread will be. I think I go down to. I think I go down the Lovecraftian route. I do think I go down the Lovecraftian route. I just need to figure out what will click, you know? Like, what will... Like, I need to figure out... I feel like I should have started writing. Alright. So this is one of my big inspirations. The search and rescue. I'm gonna create an account.
Machine, turn back now. The layers of this palace are not for your kind. Turn back, or you will cross the will of God.
Alright. There we go. Alright. What would the account name be? Mm, feel like we go with could be the name of the threat, or it could just be literally a random person. Sir. Hold on. Tunnel Way. That's what I was gonna call it. I think we call it Tunnel Ways. Tunnelway Parks. Yeah, that works. That works. Hold on. Just make sure I don't leak anything. Yep, I figured I would. All right. This doesn't matter. Yeah, whatever. Okay. Ah! Dark mode, go on. Okay. All right. What will the first post be? All right. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. All right. Maybe the first post. Hold on. Let me change this. God. Okay. So what will the title be? The title of the first post. What will it be? There are tunnels underneath the skate park. Hmm. So let's say when the main. Okay. Hold on. Let me reopen the Photoshop file. So do we do it like a public service worker and they're reporting something strange? All right. Who is the narrative being told by? That's the first question. Who is the narrator? Who is the narrator? Now, I think it should be maybe possibly. Oops. Um, it could be from like a governmental perspective. So it could be a government report file of different things, or it could be like a public park ranger, like like maybe like you know how in hold on, search and rescue officer. So yeah, this is a search and rescue officers. So search and rescue officers, that's how we could do it. Um, kind of similar to how search and rescue works, or it could be from a child's perspective. It could be from like a skater kid's perspective, right? Now, if we want to do multiple narratives, I say we have the first post be from the child's perspective. And then the second post is going to be a missing report file for maybe even the very same kid, right? So there is something going on at the Tunnelway Skate Park. There's something strange in the tunnel system underneath. There's something strange with the what? Maybe the wildlife. There's something wrong. Yeah, wrong. There's something wrong with my local skate park. All right. Now let's start. Let me start with my name first. I am no, no, no. Since ever since, yeah. Or no, 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 no. Mm. There's something wrong with my local skate park. Yeah. I think that's a strong title. Now, why would this be coming from the Tunnelway Skate Park official Reddit? In Utah. No. 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 Hmm. Do I start with the name? No, I don't think I start with the name. I think I just start with there's something wrong with my local skate park. The Tunnelway Park System. Throughout the world is the great nature parks of the Tunnelway Park System. They have been funded. All right, where is their funding? Who is the narrator? I really think we don't make too much hype around it who is the narrator, but who is responsible? Rapper. Who is funding the skate park? Who is funding the park system? Hmm. It could be just completely unknown. Or we haven't known, but we don't really know who they are. They're covered in mystery. So maybe feel like what would the name? What's like the name of someone? Mm, maybe it's a family. Yeah. Yeah, I like that idea. Who is funding the park system? A highly enriched family. So, and we can go into the family's past and see what they invested in previously. And it could be some really fucked up shit. Slaves in Saudi Arabia or some shit. I don't know. It could just be an unknown party. Or maybe unknown party or just another some or maybe even a government. But which government would it be? It could be just like the US. I think we go with the highly enriched family. So, if we go with the highly enriched family, what is the name of the family and what are they responsible for? Hmm. Hmm. This is big questions right here. Um, highly. Oh wait, I don't think I could play Metal Gear Rising. Nope, that's a remix. There we go. Um, what is his family? Wait a minute. Wait. I have an idea. This highly enriched family has a pact with the devil. the and the and okay. So let's say this highly enriched family. What do we call them? Ooh, I have an idea. Uh, we could make it have a biblical tie. It could be s- overseers of the underworld. Hmm. Nope, that's just a game. Could this be called the Hades family? Um, Satan have a brother? Satan's brother Michael. Michael the Archangel. Okay. Book of Daniel, Hebrew Bible, King of the South, and the Book of Enoch. So what if they're connected to the archangels? Who in the Book of Tobit stand ready and enter before the glory of the Lord. The other is introduced and implies the knowledge of him and the other named angels. He's mentioned again in the last book of Daniel. Jewish apocalypse. Apocalypse, you say? Tells Daniel that he and Michael, your prince, are engaged in a battle with the prince of Persia. Territorial. Wait a minute. Concerns himself with the visitation of a man. His body was like topaz, his face like lightning, his eyes like flaming torches, his arms and legs like the gleam of the burnished bronze, and his voice of the sound of a multitude to the prophet Daniel. This man exclaims that he was delayed by the prince of Persia, 1013, and helped by Michael of one chief princess. Okay. A well-defined case of an evil spiritual being ruling over an area with explicitly defined boundaries. Spiritual mapping. Ooh. I think this is a good place that we can start off with. This could be all right. All right. So, throughout the great natures of the Tunnelway Park system, throughout the world is the great nature parks of the Tunnelway Park system, funded by the Michaels. Funded by. So who would Michael be? 7 archangels. Yeah, Gabriel, Michael, Uriel. And yeah, what? Hmm. Aren't there like archdemons? Hmm. Shut the fuck up. You're banned. Um. Hmm. Funded by the Arches. Ooh, the Arches. The Arch family. Funded by the Arch family. Not much is known about. Throughout the world is the great nature parks of the Tunnelway Park system, funded by the Arch family. The Arch family is known to have ties. Hmm. Um. I feel like what would the Arch family be known for? What would they be known to have ties with? If I was a family of primordial beings that are disguising as humans and are investing in the ultimate purpose of ending the world, what would I invest in? I really want to say Israel, but I feel like that would be connecting it too close to politics. But then again, what else can I invest it in? What is known to have ties with the? Mm. I really don't want them to have ties to Israel. I really don't want to bring that type of stuff in. But I don't know what the fuck else they would invest in. Maybe I just have them like be really old and say that they have invested into like Volkswagen in the 1940s, if you know what I'm saying. The Arch family, of which who have not much is known. They had previous ties. With investing in foreign coups. So this is where it's gonna go into alternate history. Foreign coups. That's what they're called, right? Coups, right? No. Oh my god. Theatrical trigger to be carried out in a specific time. No. Government coup. Oh, that's what. I spelled it wrong. They have previous ties with investing in foreign coups, particularly with Germany. All right. Throughout the world, the great nature parks of the Tunnelway Park system, funded by the Arch family. Not much is known. The Arch family, not much is known. They have previous ties with investing in foreign coups. Not much is known from the yeah. They have previous ties with investing in foreign coups. We going for peak or nah? Well, we are starting somewhere. All right. I really want a like. So here, here's what we're starting off with. These are all the places where we're gonna have different things happen. All right. So these are like the hub areas. Our main place is gonna be in Utah, and then it's gonna have a place in Wyoming, Georgia, South Carolina, not South Carolina, North Carolina, Toronto, Britain, Greenland, Brazil, and ugh, Germany, Japan, and Australia. And it's going to be connected. Just so I get caught up with. I am trying to explain it, my friend. All right. So these are all connected. All right. All these places will have a connection through the Tunnelway Park system. All right. Throughout the world is the great nature parks of the Tunnelway Park system, funded by the Arch families. By the Arch family, which is going to be a big investor, and they will be connected to particularly the Archangels, which are going to be connected to the end of the world. Does that make sense? Are we following? All right, cool. So, and we could have it, I guess. Okay. Um, but the Tunnelway Park system will then be used as a lure for, let's say, I'm thinking children. All right, children, whatever. But pretty much, it's going to be a lure for people to go into it, be consumed by it, and then. All right, I haven't thought that far yet about what will happen, Epstein Tunnel. Yes, I guess. It I r- but I'm trying to figure out who the Arch family is going to be, right? Like who's going to be the big investors? Who's going to be the people responsible for the great horrors that we are going to gone in? The Adderall isn't kicking in yet, maybe. Um what about an oil company? Feel they dig holes, don't they? I mean, yeah, but like I feel like an oil company will just I want the tunnels to lead to something. I kind of want it to be like an organic thing. All right? Like all the tunnels are connected to a great nervous system if that makes sense. What they end up hitting something they don't understand. Good point. Good point. Um but I really want it to be something organic that disguises itself as nature parks. Nature parks, skate parks, whatever. For Utah, it's going to be a skate park because I really think a horror stories I have not seen a horror story take place in a skate park. So, and it's going to be skate park, nature parks. They're all going to be connected through the tunnelway system. And the tunnelway park system is going to be a fictional like park system. Think like the what's it called? The Park of Flesh. I forgot what it's called. Mystery Flesh Pit National Park. This this is like a good example of what I'm talking about. Like particularly this park that is just like um big that's like this big system. Yeah. And it's an alternate history. Yeah, yeah. Cosmic horror. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Lovecraftian. But yeah. I'll read the Mystery Flesh Pit because that's a really good one. The story revolves around a fictional mystery flesh pit, a colossal ancient superorganism discovered beneath the town of Gupton, Texas during the oil excavation. So that could go in the direction that you're going. Um, but I don't think oil. All right, I think we go with something different. But yeah, but the mystery flesh pit is a really good example of what I'm trying to go for here. Um, I wonder if the mystery flesh pit doesn't it have mystery flesh pit national park. By the way, read this story. This story is really cool. Yeah. Yeah, the mystery flesh pit. Yeah. Ooh, look at that. Now I'm thinking maybe something like an archaeological dig site. And that's literally already been done. That's the thing. I like this is just pretty much a cave system that is organic. Um yeah, yeah, the mystery flesh pit. Yeah, it's literally an organic being that is in the earth. Yeah, bone, hard palate. Yeah, bone. Yeah, yeah. Drink organ, whatnot, and then it collapses in on itself in like 2007, because it starts breathing. Um, yeah, this part like collapse caused it to close down. Yeah, Wendigo did a really good video on this, by the way. Um, but yeah, really good story. I recommend checking it out, The Mystery Flesh Pit. But we could go something similar like that. But I do but whereas that takes place in like one place, right? Like that place that like the Mystery Flesh Pit, it takes place in Texas. What if we have it take place throughout the entire world and it's interconnected, right? That's what I'm thinking. Throughout the world is the great nature parks of the Tunnelway Park system, funded by the Arch family. Not much is known of the Arch family. Now, who are the foreign investors? Who is the Arch family? That's the real question. Let's get music. Hmm. I feel like they could be. It could be like oil. Wait a minute. Wait. What if they're oil barons? The Arch family is full of oil barons, like people who get rich off of foreign oil. So they're pretty much just the modern day warlords, right? That could work. And then they just like hard pivot into investing in the national parks, which is extremely weird, but it would make sense. Maybe Michael Arch. Hmm. They were previously oil barons. Isn't that the right terminology for it? Oil barons? Hmm. Yeah, I don't think oil would make sense. Maybe I really like the idea of them investing in foreign coups and being involved in like Nazi shit. I don't know. Um, maybe that's just because I read Mother Horse Eyes, and like the main point of that was that like the Holocaust was used to be an experiment for Mother Horse Eyes and flesh pits, or what they're called, I think, or I'm pretty sure they're either called flesh pits or flesh zones. Mother Horse Eyes is a really crazy story. That's a really good one. Um, not much is known of the Arch family. Some might say, what if it's like completely unknown? So, like, whenever you look up their history, it says that they're oil barons, but reports say that they were investing in foreign coups, and like, it's completely unknown what they do. I think that's a good idea. I I like that idea. Funded by the Arch family. Funded by the Arch family. The Arch family. Trivialized. The Arch family is trivialized by what they do. Whenever you Financial past. The Arch family is trivialized. Whenever any research is done into their financial past, hmm. The Arch family is a trivializing subject. Yeah. It's a trivializing subject, however. However, they are known to invest the Arch family is a trivializing subject. Is a trivializing subject. However, they are known to invest in foreign affairs and coups. For example, all right, the Arch family is a trivializing subject. However, they are known to invest in foreign affairs and coups. I like this. I like this. For example, all right, we're going to go into alternate history. So there is going to be a government that won't exist anymore. What government will it be? Or maybe Vietnam. Vietnam. Iraq. Iran, maybe. No. Libya. What if we just made, like, the third world a atomic wasteland? And it's because of them. When the fall of for the third world. When the fall of the third world. What if the. For example, when the fall of the third world happened, I feel like the fall of the third world, like every third world country, like everywhere that oil happens, what if they all fell? When the fall of the third world happened, and this will be an alternate history in the 1949 post World War II. For example, when the fall of the third world happened in 1949 in World War II, I wouldn't say almost all the funding. Michael Arch, Michael Arch II. Hmm. For example, when the fall of the Third World happened in 1949 post World War II, The Arch family invested heavily into nuclear capabilities. Throughout the world is the great nature parks of the Tunnelway Park system, funded by the Arch family. The Arch family is a trivializing subject, however. They are known to invest in foreign affairs and coups. For example, when the fall of the Third World happened back in 1949, post World War II, the Arch family invested in the nuclear capabilities. All right. They funded over a third. They funded over a third of all. Um. Okay. Throughout the world is the Great Nature Parks on the Tunnelway Park system, funded by the Arch family. The Arch family is a trivializing subject, however. They are known to invest in foreign affairs and coups. For example, when the fall of the Third World happened in 1949, post World War II, the Arch family invested into nuclear capabilities. They funded over a third of all the bombs of which were dropped. Bombs which are the entirety. They funded over a third of all the bombs which were dropped, crossing the entirety. All right. Throughout the world is the great nature parks of the Tunnelway Park system, funded by the Arch family. The Arch family is a trivializing subject, however. They are known to invest in foreign affairs and coups. For example, when the fall of the Third World happened back in 1949, post World War II, the Arch family invested in nuclear capabilities. They funded a third of all the bombs which were dropped, crossing the entirety of what was Africa. Hmm. All right. Of what was Africa. In 1950, however, 1950, the arches making nature preserves. Nature preserves in Utah, Wyoming, Georgia, North Carolina, Toronto. That's how you spell it, right? Toronto, Britain, Greenland, Germany, and Japan. Okay. For example, when the fall of the Third World happened in 1949 post World War II, the Arch family invested in nuclear capabilities. They funded over a third of all the bombs which were dropped crossing the entirety of what is Africa. In 1950, the other bombs were created by the Nazi Party, by the Nazi Party. Okay. They funded over a third of all the bombs which were dropped crossing the military. I mean, they funded over a third of all the bombs which were dropped crossing the entirety of what was Africa. The other bombs were created with were cre- the other bombs were created from the Nazi Party and the U.S. military. From the Nazi Party and the U.S. military. In 1950, the Arch family began making nature preserves in Utah, Wyoming, Georgia, North Carolina, Toronto, Britain, Greenland, and Germany and Japan. They were a variety of parks. They came in variety. All right. So I imagine in this universe, um, let's say, what if, because in 1949 the Nazis were already, destroyed. They got fucked up in 1945. So what if the Nazi party still existed? All right, now we are going into full blown crazy territory, but I think this could work. All right. In the US military. 1950, the Arch family began blueprints for nature preserves in Wyoming, Utah, Wyoming, Georgia, North Carolina, Toronto, Britain, Greenland, Germany, and Japan. They came in a variety of shapes and sizes. Throughout the world is the Great Nature Parks of the Tonaway Park System, funded by the Arch family. The Arch family is a trivializing subject, however. They are known to invest in foreign affairs and coups. For example, when the fall of the Third World happened in 1949, post World War II, the Arch family invested in the nuclear capabilities. They funded a third of all the bombs which were dropped, crossing the entirety of what was Africa. The other bombs were created from the Nazi Party and the US military. In 1950, the Arch family began blueprints for nature preserves in Utah, Wyoming, Georgia, North Carolina, Toronto, Britain, Greenland, Germany, and Japan. They began a variety they came in a variety of shapes and sizes. The one in Utah. When was skateboarding invented? Hold on. Skateboarding invention. The first skateboard started with wooden boxes of boards with roller skate wheels attached to the bottom. Freight scooters. Hmm. Sorry, I had to do something. Uh, all right. So here's what I think. In this alternate history, the Nazi Party did not get dissolved, and they bombed the shit out of Africa. Africa is a nuclear wasteland. All right. Here, I'll just read you the synopsis. Throughout the world is the Great Nature Parks of the Tonaway Park System, funded by the Arch family. The Arch family is a that's definitely progress. However, they are known to invest in foreign affairs and coups. For example, when the fall of the Third World happened in 1949, post World War II, the Arch family invested in the nuclear capabilities. They funded over a third of all the bombs which were dropped crossing the entirety of what was Africa. The other bombs were created from the Nazi Party and the US military. In 1950, the Arch family began blueprints for nature preserves in Utah, Wyoming, Georgia, North Carolina, Toronto, Britain, Greenland, Germany, and Japan. It came in a variety of shapes and sizes. The one in Utah became what I would hope to be a skate park. Became a skate park. As an Ohioan, I feel a little left out, but that's fine. I mean, I was thinking about putting one near the Great Lakes. We got all the weird shit. Yeah, literally. Yeah, I like this direction that we're going in. The one in Utah became a skate park in the present. Became what is now a skate park. The one in Wyoming, a nature preserve. Wait, where is so under the skate park is a tunnel. You're starting to get the tunnels will connect. There's a reason I can't call it tunnelway systems. By the way, tunnelway skate parks has been something I've actually wanted to make. Let me go to my docs. Hold on. This is the original tunnelway skate park. 6 pages. Um, but I really want to do a revamp of this because I think this is too narrow. All right, this was my first attempt. I know a subreddit full of campfire stories won't be the best place to play a skate park review, but I genuinely don't know where to post this. I can't sleep, I'm having trouble eating, and I'm afraid to step outdoors. I am afraid of simple sounds, something simple like a skateboard rolling on concrete. I am trapped in purgatory, not from a stalker or a ghost, but a fucking skate park. Tunnelway Skate Park. It began 4 years before now. I moved to Vermont, my home from my home state, Massachusetts. I was 14 at the time of the move. The move was for my father Gerald, who landed an engineering gig on an aviation plant in the small town of Tunnelway. So we could have it be like a town, the town of Tunnelway. Um, we were an upper middle class family at the time. You know, think of the typical suburban family that's so white that a flashbang happens every time you enter the house, and of course, coming across the city life of Boston. So yeah, a lot of stuff like that. Da 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 da. Yeah, I think that's a little bit generic. I prefer I prefer we go down the way of alternate history, and I feel like having Nazi involvement would make sense. All right, I really like this redraft where the Tunnelway Skate Park is an interconnected system of different parks that feeds off of I don't know children. But it feeds and will eventually lead to, you know, the birth of the Antichrist or something like that. I don't know. But I really like the idea of these parks being interconnected. The Tunnelway Park system. Damn. Rep. So the Tunnelway Park system, all of these will be connected, right? And these tunnels, they aren't going to be sewer tunnels, right? These are going to be these tunnels are going to lead like into like a umbilical system, right? Like what if it's I really would love it to be just a giant organic thing that sits in the crust of the earth. Imagine that. And it's like mouth. It's like mouth is like in these parts. If that makes sense. What if it's like a filter feeder? That's a good point. So whenever something passes it, it goes into the mouth, and then it can't escape the mouth. I real The one in Wyoming is a hiking trail now. All right, let's move it up from 1950 because it's kind of weird to have a skate park in 1950. The 70s is a good time to because that's when they started building skate parks. All right, so let's move it to 1970. Or actually, no, 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 no. 1950 because post World War II, that's when they find it. That's when they find the thing in the crust, right? So what if they invested the Arch family? They invested into geographical, like anomalies. Because I think, what if it's just a creature that is in the crust of the earth that filter feeds, and they use these parks as a way to feed it. So you go walking in the trail, you don't come back, and they find these like weird like tunnels that lead, and you go deeper and deeper and deeper into them, but then you can't leave them because it shuts up like a fucking throat, right? Like there's like a throat in the park. Think about it. I think we could get somewhere with this. I think we could get somewhere with this. All right. And the tunnels, and like you don't see the tunnels, but there's like a luring like thing that like lures you into the tunnels. Uh, I think it's a good idea. Look up Moray eel skeleton. Moray eel. Oh, I know these guys. Oh, I see. It's just eels. I'm just like imagining so it could be one like that. Yeah, it's a good point. It's a good point. The entering tunnel will be like, ooh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I like it. I like it. All right, the one in Wyoming has become is is a hiking trail now. So the one in Wyoming, a hiking trail. Uh, then the one in Georgia. What if the one in Georgia is what Stone Mountain is? I don't know if you guys know what Stone Mountain is, right? It's this big ass mountain. It has like a bunch of faces on it. I've been there. It's pretty cool. But what if that is is Stone Mountain is the Tunnelway Park? Ever since we're going full on alternate history, the Nazis still exist. Well, Nazis still do exist in our timeline. But what if the Stone Mountain Park became the Tunnelway Park in this universe, in this timeline? Exactly. I I I think I'm cooking. I think I'm cooking. The one the one in Georgia. So what would the name of this alternate Stone Mountain be? Hmm. Think. Think. Sorrow Mountain? I don't know. Yeah. The one in Georgia is maybe not like Sorrow Mountain. Looks like a sad face. Um hmm. Hmm. I don't know. I don't know. The one in Georgia, I really like the idea of Stone Mountain being the basis for the one in Georgia. A mountain reservoir. I don't know how to spell reservoir, but how do you spell reservoir? Whatever. The one in Georgia, hmm, is a mountain park. Thank you. Reservoir. The one in Georgia is a mountain reservoir, etc., etc. Because I don't want it to just be skate parks. Like the one in Utah is a skate park. The one in Wyoming, a hiking trail. The one in Georgia, a mountain reservoir. Ooh, there we go. There we go. Etc., etc. Oh, hell yeah. The one in Utah became what is now a skate park. I'll just say it became a skate park. It came in a variety of shapes and sizes. The one in Utah became a skate park. The one in Wyoming is a hiking trail. The one in Georgia is a mountain reservoir. The one in North Carolina, uh, why do we make the one in North Carolina, etc., etc. Maybe we will explore the one in North Carolina in the second narrative. I think the second narrative is going to be the missing 411s. So those will be like um very strictly typed out like basically documents um of missing 411 cases that happen in these parks and where their bodies are found, what state they're found in, if they're alive, and like any testimonies, what they saw, things like that. The first one is just going to be the unnamed protagonist in the Utah park that uncovers all of it. Because I really like having dual narratives. I think it will work. Hmm. Let me see. What it the park and mountain What will North Carolina be? Park in North Carolina could be like I feel like we'll explore the names in the second narrative. Because those will be more governmental, right? So that's where we will explore exactly what goes on in each one of these. The one in North Carolina, a maybe like a beach. Beach. Or maybe a lake. What's like a North Carolina lake? North Carolina parks. What what kind of parks do they have? North Carolina State Parks. Here we go. All right, let's see. Morrow Mountain. What is Morrow Mountain? Morrow Mountain State Park. That sounds intriguing. Morrow Mountain. Oh, dude. Yeah, it's gonna take place in here. Fucking Woodland Mountain. Oh yes, this is a perfect spot for a horror setting. The Morrow Mountain. Look how desolate this is. Yeah, actually, like seeing this mountains and mountains of just trees. Like you could get killed here and no one would know. Like look at how desolate all that is. Like this is some shit that I would see up in North Georgia. Yeah. I think Morrow Mountain's gonna be yeah, same with Appalachia, yeah. Damn, do I have the ads running that much, bro? Let me see if I can turn that down. Either that or Twitch is just going crazy with the ads. That's what it's gotta be, bro. Morrow Mountain. God, what a good setting. Yeah, I think it's just Twitch, bro. Mm. Yeah, Morrow Mountain I like. Alright. Park in North Carolina. The park in North Carolina. The park in North Carolina is a mountain. Is it along the wait a minute. That's a good point. Let me see if it's connected to the Appalachia. Apple Hmm. Camping the Cron House. Scottish preacher family lived there for the remainder of their lives, building a small farm and a sizable tech. Dr. Cron in the county until his death. History. The artifacts of the area attest to the presence of Native Americans at least 12,000 years before Europe's settlement. This could be connected to the natives. Maybe the natives were warning of something under it. The natives, because okay, I don't know if you guys know about like it, uh, but it was originally a boogaloo or boogaloo. I think that's what it was called. Um, that was a Native American legend that would eventually become Pennywise the Dancing Clown. But originally, it landed down in Maine. It came in like a giant fucking space ball because it's the deadlights. It's from a turtle or whatnot, and but it started out as a Native American legend, and so the Native Americans they knew about it and they warned of the dangers of the it presence and that it needed to be controlled and that they had the control over it whenever the settlers came in and angered it and made it more powerful so that they had to do the whole thing. I don't know, watch Welcome to Derry, it's a good show. But I would imagine something like that, like they knew about the yeah, they I feel like the Native Americans knowing about the tunnels, because I want it to be organic. I really want something organic, like something that's in the crust of the earth. I just need to think. Think. Hmm. Passage of noted people. Wait. Local legends recount the passage of noted people, including Henry Ford, Thomas Edison, and Jefferson Davis. All right. I'm just gonna say it's a state park. Is a mountain trail along the Morrow Trail, like a sarlacc. Sarlacc. Oh yeah, this thing. Somewhat, somewhat, but a bit less obvious because this is literally just like the Earth has a mouth. But yeah, similar idea. It's gonna be a lot less obvious. It's not gonna be just a big ass mouth, obviously. But like it's going to be hidden. That's my goal. I want it to be a hidden threat that has been known about, like from the Arch family, and they know about it, but they just don't tell anyone because they need to feed it. Otherwise, something horrible is gonna happen, right? Along the Morrow Trail. Hmm. But yeah, similar idea. The Arch family is a trivializing subject, however, and they are known to invest in foreign affairs and coups. For example, during the fall of the Third World that happened For example, when the fall of the Third World happened in 1949, post World War II, the Arch family invested in nuclear capabilities. They funded over a third of all the bombs that were dropped, crossing the entirety of what was Africa. The other bombs were created by from the Nazi Party and the U.S. military. In 1950, the Arch family began blueprints for nature preserves in Utah, Wyoming, Georgia, North Carolina, Toronto, Britain, Greenland, Germany, and Japan. They came in a variety of shapes and sizes. The one in Utah, a skate park. The one in Wyoming, a hiking trail. A park in Georgia, a mountain reservoir. And a park in North Carolina, a state park along the Memorial Trail. The ones. What is the significance of Africa, if I might ask? So I want it to be alternate history. So I don't. I feel like Africa being a nuclear wasteland because of, in this alternate history, when World War II happened, the Germans, I wanted to say they won, but the US and the Germans, they made a pact, right? And they bombed the shit out of Africa for their, oil preservation so they don't have any opposition for the oil. So they just kill pretty much everyone in Africa and they farm oil from Africa, if that makes sense. Because right now, Africa is known as the third world, right? And that's where all the third world stuff and a lot of bad shit happens in Africa, sadly, and it's just because it's a very resource so the bombs wake up the beast. Yeah, exactly. And now they need to preserve the beast by feeding it through these parks. I do feel like Africa, it could be that Africa is connected to the beast, and once there is like a giant bombing, it woke it up. Yeah. So, the Nazi Party in the US, they made a pact, and they said pretty much, yeah, yeah, yeah. I like where this is going. Okay. So they made a pact. Okay. Let's get to the drawing board. To the drawing board. To the drawing board. All right. Back to square one. All right. So the origins. Oh fuck. All right. What if over time Africa just loses the name of Africa and is just referred to as the Withering Lands? Maybe. All right. So the U.S. military makes a pact with the Nazi Party, and I would let's like to say 1949. In 1949, which resulted in the shared resources of Africa with Africa, and in 1950 they bombed They bombed Africa until there wasn't a living soul. Hold on. The US military makes a pact with the Nazi Party in 1949, which resulted in the shared resources of Africa, which resulted in shared resources with Africa. In 1950, they bombed Africa until there were no inhabitants. True, true. In the in the present of this timeline, Africa is used solely for oil extractions. For oil extractions and farming. Well, not farming, and for oil extractions. That's a good point. In the present of this timeline, Africa is used solely for oil extractions. All right. Yeah, the survivors. Yeah. What if this would be really fucked? What if the survivors of the initial bombing, right? So let's just say if they all, I know I said that it would be nuclear, but what if I made it just instead of nuclear bombing, what if it's just a bombing? It's a giant bombing run, right? So they can still like, walk on it and not have it be a nuclear wasteland. So it's a giant bombing run, and they then made it so that every country in there was pretty much they collapsed underneath the giant bombing run, and they then rushed in and enslaved all the survivors of the initial bombing run and used them to farm oil. Yeah, into bombing capabilities. They funded over a third of all the bombs which were dropped under the entirety of what was Africa. The other bombs created by the Nazi Party and the US military. In 1950, the Arch family became. They. Alright. Alright, 1949. I mean, not 1950. 1950 is when they start the parks because they start realizing that they, awoken a beast in the crust of the earth. So this is, we'll just call it oil land. I'm stupid. Uh, Oil land. Oil land. All right. And pretty much all of Africa is just oil, 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 oil. This is where they farm resources. Throughout the world is the great nature parks of the Tonaway Park system, funded by the Arch family. The Arch family is a trivializing subject, however. They are known to, however, alright, funded by the Arch family. The Arch family is a trivializing subject, however. They are known to invest in foreign affairs and coups. Oh, God damn it. They are known to invest in foreign affairs and coups. For example, when the fall of Third World happened in 1949, post World War II, the Arch family the Arch family invested in the bombing capabilities. They funded over a third of all the bombs which were dropped crossing the entirety of what was Africa. The other bombs were created from the Nazi Party and the US military. In 1950, the Arch family began blueprints for nature preserves in Utah, Wyoming, Georgia, North Carolina, Toronto, Britain, Greenland, Germany, and Japan. They came in a variety of shapes and sizes. The one in Utah became a skate park. The park in Wyoming became a hiking trail. The park in Georgia is a mountain reservoir, and the park in North Carolina is a state park along the Morrow Trail. The ones in it, the ones internationally The one internationally are similar. One escape park. We'll say Germany's escape park. The ones internationally are similar. Germany has a skate park. Germany has a skate park. Japan Japan has hiking trails. The only thing I'm confused about, well, this creature lives in the crust, or it is the crust, right? Like, I think that it should be connected to the Earth itself. It's an organic being that crosses the entirety of the crust of the Earth and goes into it. So let me get uh Earth crust. All right. Let me make a like visualization. All right. So this is like the skin, right? This is the skin, and there's like little areas where it has like mouth open, and that's where the parks are at, right? So there's like little mouths, it's like "Yeah, little mouth, ooh, wee 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 wee," and the ocean is just kind of like don't worry about what the ocean is. I don't. I'm not sure what the ocean will be. I don't know how that will connect into it. We'll figure that out later. Um, but this is like the mouth of it, and then its organs are in here, like in the earth. It's organic. So I know I'm drawing it in black, but and then this the center is at the core. So this is like the brain, all right? But pretty much whenever big boom happens, so, let me get fire.png. Yeah, so when the big boom happens in 1949 and they bomb the shit out of what's Africa now, and they make it pretty much just oil land, goes boom, it disturbs this, right? It disturbs the inside of Earth, of what's inside of Earth. So now it's very mad, it's very angry, it's like, eh. And so it starts opening holes in the crust, all right? And then that crust, it feeds so it can recover from what the damage they have done to it. And so it goes, and then it feeds off of the stuff that is from, the parts, the entryways. And oh my god, the Arch family, they know about this. So they make these parts so they can put in traffic to these feeding tunnels. And these feeding tunnels are what feeds it and keeps it satiated. Otherwise, the crust will literally open up and it will eat everyone. Does that make sense? So they intentionally feed this thing in the crust, which could just be the Earth itself, that is angry at them for bombing Africa. And they must satiate it until it is either satisfied or it just kills everyone. Yeah, fire, right? Yeah, peak, yeah. So did we scrap? No, I think skate parks is still a good idea. No. No, a skate park I still think makes sense. Because it still brings in traffic. And guess what? Listen, if a skater goes missing, no one cares, alright? Think about this. Your average skateboarder is like a nobody, alright? So they want to target nobodies, because people going around who are going into these trails and they blah 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 da 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 da. Ooh, look at that tunnel! I'm gonna go in that tunnel, and they don't have any signage or anything that says this tunnel is dangerous. They go into the tunnel, they feed the thing, and then they're never seen again. And then they write it off, and then yeah, like you want nobodies to feed this thing. What about Tony Hawk? That would be hilarious if I just put Tony Hawk in it and he was just one of the people that was fed to it. That would be really funny. Then Tony Hawk came in to the Tunnelway Skate Park. And then he wanted to go skate in the sewer system and then he fucking died. Germany has a skate park, Japan has hiking trails. And where are the other parks again? Or wait a minute. Wait. Utah, Wyoming, Georgia, Toronto. Japan has Toronto. What would Toronto be? What the fuck goes on in Toronto? What? A skiing resort. A skiing resort. I'm a genius. That's what Toronto will be. Toronto, the skiing resort. Toronto is a skiing resort. Toronto is skiing resort. All right. Toronto is a skiing resort. Britain Maybe Britain? British. What if Britain's just like a fucking castle? um, hmm. Britain. 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 Hmm. What the fuck happens in Britain, dude? I don't know what Britain is. Alright, maybe we remove Britain. Because I don't know what British people do. British. Um, Greenland can just be a mountain area. The stream's delayed. Oops. Ah! Ah! Include. What do you mean, bro? Hold on. Let me see. Let me see. Shut up. Stream manager. Stream manager. Chicken jockey, chicken jockey, chicken jockey. Snap, 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 snap. Chicken jockey, chicken jockey, chicken jockey. Snap, 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 snap. Oh, I totally see what you mean. Alright. Hold on. I think I know what to do. I need to restart stream. Let me restart stream. I'll be back. It'll be very quick.